And here we go. How's everyone doing? Happy Friday, happy weekend. Welcome back to Stocks at Bat, the numbers. And of course, we have that big piece of positive news that everyone has been waiting for regarding Super Micro Computer Incorporated, ticker symbol SMCI, listed here on the NASDAQ. Stock has been storming back. A lot of investors taking positions in the company, thinking that the sell-off was an overreaction. I said, in my opinion, that they have too much of a good thing going to allow themselves to get delisted, not do the right thing. They got the CFO out. Now they're having an extension granted to them. That's why the stock popped here at around 5 o'clock. And we can see now, after hours, obviously, the stock is approaching $47. In my opinion, it really shouldn't stop. It should get back to 50 plus in my eyes. It's at 47 even right now, up an additional 3.7% after hours to close at a touch below 44. Now we're at 47. And this is why I was saying, in my opinion, that last time it may have looked like in the technicals that I was personally expecting a little bit of a pullback. However, the stock happened to bounce back up. But in general, I was saying that this was an overreaction. And even looking at the chart, looking at the company and the numbers, I said that in my opinion, the company can easily rally back up to $45, $50 a share. That should be a layup. And again, the stock hit highs of almost $123. So believe it or not, even bringing it back up here over the last couple of weeks, all the way from new lows of 17 and a quarter. Can you imagine? Now the stock is back at 50. That's why, again, I said that that's technically less than half of the move back up. And that's why it really should be a slam dunk. That's really what it came down to at the end of the day. Stock's still running right now, 47.34 currently. And let's just pull up the article here for everybody. And remember also recently, I believe it was Susquehanna, as the stock was approaching those lows and like started to hit that 20 level, that's when we got news that they started to acquire a stake. And now you have big money, smart money, quote unquote, big institutions now stepping in and accumulating shares of SMCI to supposedly, quote unquote, take advantage of semiconductor growth over the next couple of years or whatever BS frickin' headline they're trying to feed to us. At the end of the day, we have to call it like we see it. SMCI saw a massive surge in demand, upped revenue, upped guidance, profits were going to explode, and the company was going to be on to bigger and better things over the next couple of years. And whether it was riding off the coattails of NVIDIA or not, it really didn't matter. That's why I was saying in previous videos, you're recently also hearing about a little bit of a surge in volume and attention coming into AMD, right? And that's what I mean. That's why I made that video recently. Because I was saying, in my opinion, everyone wants to focus on the one or two big players in the space, when in reality you should be buying the discounted or fair value backup players on the bench that are going to benefit and see even more growth than the potential front runner. But let's see what's going on here. Supermicro gets extension to file delayed annual report. AI server maker Supermicro Computer said on Friday it has received an extension from the NASDAQ till February 25th. February 25th to file its delayed annual and quarterly reports, of course, our 10Qs and our 10Ks. Did we really have any other information here? We also saw a big surge in a lot of tech names, including, of course, all of these AI names. I mean, I guess we could look at Sound as well, real quick. Sound had another breakup day today, in case you missed it. But the stock here closed at 15.01, up $1.68, over 12.5% on the day, hitting new highs of $15.10 a share. And this is what, again, everyone was kind of initially looking for when they first saw Sound, and they saw not only the growth potential, but of course the short float as well. And we were looking, when we first spiked up to 10 here, let me pull up the chart, all the way back here when we first got that NVIDIA news, stock hit 10 and a quarter. This squeeze now is what people were expecting back here. They were expecting a squeeze to about 15, 16 a share. Now, obviously, it calmed down for several months, and now we're seeing this surge. So in reality, again, we hit like 1577 yesterday after hours. And then you can see the stock pulled back and then immediately spiked up, but continued to just step up and up. And technically hit even newer highs after hours as well here of about 1520. But at the end of the day, we knew that the AI surge was going to kind of continue. But of course, we also had news about Trump appointing, I believe it was a former exec over at PayPal. Okay, it's not coming up here. It came up when I looked at PayPal. Again, we just did an update video on PayPal. What a call by your boy right here. Here we go. Trump appoints former PayPal exec as AI and crypto czar. Said Thursday he was appointing former COO as his, quote, White House AI and crypto czar. That helped to surge everything else as well. Bitcoin has been staying up. It now recently broke above 100,000. If you're not keeping an eye on it, it's above 100K. And people are pumped not only about the psychological level, and it had a pop off of this news as well, this Trump news, but also more importantly, people are saying that, well, Trump was also saying, it's not people saying, but Trump was saying that he was potentially considering maybe like a little Bitcoin crypto reserve for the government. So that's why people are just feeding more and more value into the crypto space. But also more importantly, it says here that, quote, he will work on a legal framework so the crypto industry has the clarity it has been asking for and can thrive in the U.S. Trump said in a post on his social media site, Truth Social, without saying whether czar was an official. Who cares? The crypto czar and other officials, such as the chairs of the SEC, Commodity Futures Trading Commission, are expected to reshape U.S. policy on digital currency, along with a newly created Crypto Advisory Council. So we may finally start to get the regulation and the oversight in the cryptocurrency market, as I guess you could say we have in the stock market and whatnot. Obviously, sometimes they miss some pretty big situations, but still, technically, there is some oversight. Trump's tech backers generally want to see minimal regulation around artificial intelligence and cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, saying Washington would throttle growing innovative sectors with excessive rules. An entrepreneur who has invested in companies such as Airbnb and Coinbase called the choice of Saks a, quote, strong move. OpenAI CEO wrote on X, congrats to David Sacks. So, yeah, technically, SoundHound AI, even I know some people were talking about Big Bear AI, BBAI. I know they had some kind of mixed earnings over the last several quarters, but in general, we're seeing this surge come back, and especially into, as we said, domestic companies. So we're seeing a lot of quantum computing stocks, Qubit, QBTS. You're seeing IonQ continues to stay up. It's up here in the high 30s. Right? We last did an update on that stock. It was down at like 15 or something. SoundHound is breaking up and out. So you're seeing the massive cash flow come back into these domestic AI, crypto, tech stocks, right? But again, as I mentioned, it's the smaller up and coming players that are receiving a little bit more attention. So that's why, in my opinion, that's the way I would personally play it. But of course, to each his own. Sachs, quote, Sachs will likely have a light touch on regulation, but without some guardrails. As co-invested with Star, okay. He predicted that Sachs will prioritize regulating how AI is used in certain critical applications instead of focusing on regulating the development of the AI models themselves. And I know that's what people in the AI space were worried about. Was there going to be too much government oversight? Was the government going to overreach when potentially trying to regulate the AI space? And will we maybe run into a lot of red tape and have to jump a lot of hurdles before it can work out for the company? So now with this news coming out, supposedly sounding like they're not going to do that, this is why I think we're seeing a break up and out into, again, these specific companies here. This distinction was a key point of contention for Silicon Valley investors. Opposed the bill. Trump announced on Wednesday he was nominating Washington lawyer, crypto advocate Paul Atkins to lead the SEC. Trump, who once labeled crypto a scam, embraced digital assets during his campaign, promising to make the United States the, quote, crypto capital of the planet and to accumulate a national stockpile of Bitcoin. So that's why, with now this oversight coming in, and of course Trump saying that he wants to make us the crypto capital and he wants to have a Bitcoin reserve, obviously you can put the pieces together. This is why Bitcoin has been holding pretty steady and got above that $100,000 level for the first time on Wednesday night, a milestone hailed even by skeptics as a coming of age for digital assets as investors bet on a friendly U.S. administration to cement the place of cryptocurrencies in financial markets. Asset manager Astronaut Capital described the news as extremely bullish. Quote, David has had somewhat of a hands-on approach to crypto over the years, at times holding coins such as Solana. He appears to be a lot more technically and commercially competent regarding crypto than most would think. Born in South Africa, early leader of PayPal, considered a member of the, quote, PayPal Mafia. Peter Thiel, Musk. Musk is a crypto fan. Yep. The Doge. Zenefits. Okay. Telling CNBC in 2017 that he believed the rise of Bitcoin, the world's largest cryptocurrency, was revolutionizing the internet. All right, so I guess we could say technically that that's a good pick, right? Because this is someone who, years ago, back in 2017, was an outspoken voice on CNBC, coming out and saying, that again he believes in crypto, he believes in Bitcoin, and he just understood where we would be several years down the road. So yeah, I'm going to be honest, I don't know much about this individual, but sounds like it was a decent pick, I guess, for the role. But of course, we have to wait and see what they actually do, right? Because we've seen this time and time again in American politics, right? We say one thing, then we do another, or we try to do what we say, but we can't do it. So again, we'll see what actually happens. But in the moment, I guess, yeah, I would agree with that. It does seem pretty bullish for the whole crypto sector overall, and the AI sector, obviously, as well. Quote, it feels like we are witnessing the birth of a new kind of web. Some people call it the decentralized web or the internet of money. So, yeah, I wanted to pull that up quick. But, yeah, Sound continues to break out. And SMCI, let's see. Oh, my goodness, the stock's over here at 48.5 here. 48.46 just hitting. And again, if we back up a month ago, stock was down at lows of 17.25. Can you believe what they did to this stock? That's why the whole time it was going down, what was I saying? The whole time they were bringing it down, what was I saying? You may be getting essentially free money. You may be getting a powerhouse of a massive growth tech stock in this AI space at a massive discount. Stock went from above 120 to sub 20. So you got an 80+% discount from highs. And the whole time I was doing updates saying I still like it. In my opinion, they're probably going to right the wrongs, get everything, get the ducks back in a row, get the shit back on track. People were commenting, how can you say that? You're misleading people. Oh, where do you get your information? This is why you shouldn't listen to people on YouTube. How can you support a fraudulent company? And now here we are back up at 48. So going back to our trend lines, we can see that this was a nice point of consolidation here. This is the last time we had some flatness taking place here as we were kind of hugging this line, but we were kind of just holding steady, and then we had the gap down. So now we technically retrace the gap, and now almost, not really a bull flag, but we were kind of triangling. And now, of course, we have this news after hours, which forces the stock to pump almost 10%. So I would say my next trend line up here, as you see, looking like a little over 52.5, maybe somewhere in that range. And that's why I was saying, as we bottomed out and began to chunk up and start to get news coming out, this is why I said, in my opinion, 45 to 50 really should be a layup. It shouldn't be an issue. The stock should get there sooner rather than later. And I still, to this day, maintain my personal long-term price target well over $200 a share that I have stayed adamant on, and I have maintained throughout not only the ups, but the downs as well. So again, it's the hottest stock trending. It's the one that just started to move. So all the Johnny-come-latelys jumped in, and now everyone on YouTube wants to make videos acting like they're covering the stock. And, they're making great calls. But at the end of the day, we know I was one of the first ones to bring it to you. Again, all the way back here, wherever it was. November of last year, I believe. October, November of last year was the first mention of it in the video. $350 a share. After the split would be $35 a share, which means even if you bought it then and rode this entire roller coaster, you're still up roughly 30%. And more now, probably. Stock approaching 48.5. But in my opinion, that's the next trend line right there, 50 plus. And again, with a situation like this, the main drop and sell-off, as we knew, was the worry about the NASDAQ delisting. So now that we have like a 2.5, 3-month extension, and we're going to stay on the NASDAQ for that entire time, and the company, of course, is saying that they're going to be able to file by the deadline, that's why, like, all of that should be kind of thrown out of the window now, and that's why even a retracement back up here to this top-level resistance of about 60 1/3, as you see, in my opinion, that may be the next stop. That may be the next stop. Because again, you know, we threw out technicals and trend lines and RSI. We threw all of that out the window and just simply beat up the stock off of the news. So now on the V recovery rebound, you have to make the same argument. I mean, that's the way I look at it. Now you have to make the same argument. It doesn't matter what the trend lines look like. It doesn't matter how high the RSI is approaching, overextended, overbought. None of that matters, because now we got to bring the stock back up mostly to where it was. Because our biggest concern really has kind of been squashed, in my opinion. And I understand there's still a DOJ investigation. I understand that. But again, that's why I'm saying, in my opinion, it just seems like too much of a valuable situation to where, unless we actually find out it is the shadiest crap we have ever seen, and like I said, the company is actually, you know, really should have did like $1 billion instead of $6 billion in revenue. That's why, unless we hear a story like that, I will never change my personal price target. And the whole time they called me crazy, and now the whole time they wish they took me a little bit more seriously, and, you know, maybe tried to see it through the lens that I see it. And they're beating themselves up right now saying, oh, I could have bought it down at 24, at 21, at 18. I knew it was a buy. Look, it's back up to 50 now. I missed the boat. Hate to say I told you so. But in my opinion, I basically saw this as a guaranteed rebound and the news that would come out. But of course, you guys know I'm transparent and I'm always very prudent. I try to do the right thing. So no matter how I feel about a situation, I will never, ever say that something is guaranteed. We know better, right? We know better that nothing is guaranteed. But in my mind, that's how I felt about it. But of course, for everyone who likes something, there's going to be someone on the other side of the fence explaining why they don't like something. And again, you're entitled to your own opinion. And if you still think, you know, it shouldn't be up here, or they still, again, have that investigation to hurdle over, then I can understand, you know, if you're not pumped about it. But again, this was the main concern, and that's why you're seeing the stock just consistently rally as we speak, beelining straight up, not even forming patterns, just chunking up. And we can see almost at $49, above $49 as I say that now at $49.09. Stock currently up almost 12% after hours right now. Oh, man. RSI on the daily was at 62. Again, doesn't even matter. Top Bollinger Band 47.65. We're over a point above that now. This is why, again, I'm expecting that trend line up there, 52.60, really shouldn't be a problem. 200-day moving average, 67.89. Look at this stock. It's just, oh my goodness. 60, what was it? 67.89. 6789. All right, so 6789. That would be, yeah, like here. Yeah, maybe not exactly that level. What was this point right here? Low of 67.10, 66.30, 65.60. I would say the middle one I would go conservatively, right? Because that was a low and then a lower low and then a lower low technically. So I would go right here, the middle of the low, 66.32. And now I can never line it up, so you have to do it up. Yeah, it's close enough. but 66.32, in my opinion, that is really where the stock should end up going. And chances are it will probably get there. Again, probably going to hit 50 after hours, that psychological level. And the more the news spreads and the more people, again, have the FOMO and get pissed off that they didn't buy it down into the 20s. They could have been up double their money already. So now everyone's going to pile in. That's why it's probably going to pump past the 50 mark, in my opinion. MACD staying straight up. Again, RSI probably going to be well over 70. But again, technically it doesn't matter. We ran right up to the mid-Bollinger Band, basically. Here on the weekly, we can see the stock actually hit a high of about 46. Mid-Bollinger Band 44.35. Stock closed at 43.93. Meaning that technically, in my opinion, if we didn't get this news today after hours, we probably would have had a rejection maybe back into the 30s to calm down, breathe for a minute, and then try to take the next leg higher. But now we got the news coming out, and look at that, over the long-term time frame. Basically, since getting the news, the S&P 500 listing, the stock has started to drop off bigly. The MACD crossed to the downside. We're talking April, mid-April. And now we are flattening out, as expected, curling, and now heading back to the upside, ready to cross. That's why, again, if this MACD, I mean, it's going to probably, in my opinion. That's why, again, in my eyes, you know, even saying the 50s, the 52 mark or whatever, that is conservative. That is conservative, especially if we have the MACD crossing after being in a bullish sell-off trend for, what, 9 straight months? That's why the cross back. You may see the stock catapult back up to $80, $90, $100 a share. I'm going to say that right now. 49.7. We're still climbing. Here we go. We're just going to sit here. We're going to watch it live together. Well, again, I know I'm pre-recording, but you understand what I'm saying. Well, we're going to watch it live together. We're going to see that 50 mark, and then I'll end the video, because honestly, I'm just too damn good for this crap, man. And I have to start being a little bit more cocky, maybe. I'm looking for something I can't find. I'm looking for the pivot points. 52.47. What was our trend line again? 50. Yep. 50. Yeah, 52.30. 52.60. So there you go. In my opinion, that's where it's going right here. This next level, touch below 52.5, and then that should help pump it up into the 60s and retest those other levels as well. Again, MACD about to cross to the upside on the weekly. Absolutely beautiful. And look at the RSI over the longer time frame as well. Even after bottoming out right at that 30 benchmark and now having the bounce, we're still sub 50 on the weekly time frame. And that's why, again, if we do have the cross, the daily indicators, the daily overextended RSI, in my eyes, that's not going to matter. It's going to continue to pump and climb off of this positive news. And I am just so happy that it worked out as I was personally predicting. For the record, I know the whole time I was making videos, people were like, how come you don't own it? You know, you should own it. You know, the way you're talking about it, how don't you own it? And again, I'm very transparent, I'm very honest. I said basically the whole time since I've been doing this channel that I am very, very cash poor right now, which again is why I'm trying to grow the channel and spread the word, increase my reach, so that I would have more income to start piecing into these stocks. Now, of course, we look at so many different companies on this channel that even if I had, hypothetically, $1 million cash right now, I probably wouldn't buy every single stock that we look at, right? I mean, let's be serious. But also, at the end of the day, in all fairness, if you want, you can join the Discord. Again, free for you guys to join. But I usually always put my money where my mouth is. And I know I recently did videos doing updates on SB, Safe Bulkers, which now all of a sudden is starting to get trending on Wall Street Bets. How do you like that one? But also, more importantly, I moved over a couple of bucks. I bought a handful of shares of SB. So that's the one thing I will say. You know, I know it's hard for me right now in my current state to buy all of these stocks, and even something like SoundHound. People are like, I don't believe that you don't own it. You definitely own shares. I promise, I swear on everything, I do not own one share of SoundHound. I wish I did, but I just wasn't able to. But when I do have the money, I do move it over into the account, and I have been slowly piecing into some of the stocks that we've looked at. So, full disclosure here, on the way up, it was like in the higher 20s. I was able to buy myself one share of SMCI, which of course, as you see, is up almost 100%. But again, these videos, I want to make something clear. These videos are made for you, believe it or not. They're not made for me. Like, I already know what I know, right? So that's why, again, if I had a couple of 100K and I saw SMCI drop down into the 30s and the 20s, I would have loaded the boat, because I personally know what I know. But the problem is, there have been so many screwed up freaking characters who have sucked you guys in and destroyed your trust. Whether it's crypto, whether it's a random stock, it could be a trending stock, it could be a penny stock that people pump on social media and then dump their shares after they get you involved. So that's why I understand everyone's skepticism about me, how I operate the channel, how I present myself. I can appreciate all of that. But again, at the end of the day, I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and I am never going to pump out videos just on positions that I own to make them sound better than they might be, so that you can help make me money. I will never do that. I give you my word. And if that's one of the few characteristics that separates me from the rest of the pack, then so be it. And also, if we're potentially setting the trends now, SB potentially getting on Wall Street bets now, I mean, I don't have to tell you what might happen to that stock, but again, technically, you heard it first here on this channel. So that's why. The easiest thing for me to do, if I really wanted to make myself money, is to only talk about what's trending, only talk about the Reddit stocks, and of course, only do videos on the stocks that you all find most popular, like SoundHound or SMCI. But again, I'm trying to be all around. I'm trying to look at all different companies in all different sectors, whether it's a large cap dividend payer like a Costco, a Walmart, or it's a smaller up and comer like a SoundHound. It doesn't matter. I like to look at everything, and I like to try to appeal to all different types of investors and traders. So again, I know I went off on a tangent, but lesson of the story, I will never do what solely benefits me. And I just hope that a lot of you see that. But yeah, those 52 and then those $62, $64 levels, that's where it's going, in my opinion. And I know that sounds pretty matter-of-factly. And again, nothing is guaranteed. Anything can happen. Stock could reverse back to 28 from 48. But in my opinion, highly doubtful. And we hit 49.85 and are now retesting the 20-day moving average. I was going to sit here and try to see if we can see 50 plus together, but at the same time, I probably already spoke longer than I wanted to, which I do every day. So that's pretty much it. I'll end it there. But once again, this is Stocks by the Numbers. I want to thank you for stopping by. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, wait, hold on. Do we have new news? No, it's just reiterating. Okay, just making sure. Because I saw the red dot, so I was like, wait, what's happening? But yeah, that's pretty much it. So Stocks by the Numbers, I want to thank you for stopping by. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please drop it down in the comments section. I'm usually pretty quick to reply. Thumbs up algorithm helps me get more eyes on the channel. And of course, subscribe to the channel. That is our handshake agreement. That is how you help me help you. But more importantly, moving forward, like I always say, I understand that markets are rocky, they're volatile, and they are very uncertain. So I want to wish all of you success. I hope everyone makes a couple of dollars. Thank you for your time. Enjoy your weekend.